What is up, everybody? It is Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And also realize that I am a certified empowerment coach, president and CEO of Express Your Vibe Coaching and Communications. And always know that this is the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. And I have hosted over 2,000 of them over the last 10 years, and we just keep on going. And you know how I like having new friends on the Dr. Vibe Show. We have another gentleman who is a new friend on the Dr. Vibe Show. Let me give you a little background about him. He is Cleon CJ Joseph. He is CEO of CJ's Functional Fitness. He is a premier fitness coach, as you can tell by his pipes, in Los Angeles, with almost 30 years of fitness and martial arts training. He has multiple fitness certifications from the National Academy of Sports Medicine. He's also a 22-year law enforcement veteran in Los Angeles and recently accepted a role as a supervisor for his department's self-defense and fitness unit. So you don't want to mess with this young man. He was featured as a guest trainer on the Radio Free 102.3 FM KJLH's Steve Harvey Morning Show with Adai Lamar for a segment called the Summer Fitness Minute, KTLA Channel 5 with Gail on the Go, KCBS Cal 9 for South LA's Get Fit, and the Word Network. He has worked tirelessly with nonprofit organizations like the Center for Lupus Care, the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Association, and Special Needs Network to further spread the message of wellness all over Southern California and abroad, along with his own community program, Battle of the Bulge LA. Motivational speaking engagements and wellness workshops. But tonight, he is here to share about an outstanding book he has just written called Navigating Through the Valleys of Success, A Perspective in the Thick of It. Now, I could tell you about this book, but he's going to tell you about this book because it's about him and he wrote it. So welcome to the Dr. Vibe Show for the first time, but hopefully not the last time. Cleon Joseph, what is up?
Hey, brother, what's going on? Hello from Canada, from LA to Canada. I'm so excited to give this word to you all. And thank you for the shout out in the intro. That was wow, makes me feel special. But this book is not about me. It's about sharing to others, walking through the paths of success. Yes.
Well, excellent. And and before we even went live, you and I have something in common other than me, black men. Your wife is from Canada.
Yes, she's from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. She's from the Cassell family. Okay. So, so she has those roots back there, and man, I lucked out when I married her. Trust me.
Okay, well, hey, I have a feeling you married up.
Oh, definitely.
There you go. There you go. Well, you know what? I want to make sure you get brownie points while you're doing this. You know, so.
Canada, thank you.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, what we like to do, especially the first time that we have new friends on the Dr. Vibe Show, we like to get a little background about yourself. So we found out where your wife is from, but what about you? Where were you from? Where are you from? Where you grew up, etc.?
I'm from the city of Long Beach, West Side. Now, Long Beach has that bad connotation of rappers, but Long Beach on the West Side was a beautiful city, beautiful people, man. And I was raised on a street called Easy Street. And life for a while was pretty decent on that street. It was like It's a Wonderful Life. It was awesome. Yeah. Parents come from the South, from Louisiana, Shreveport County, and Natchitoches. And they came over here to provide a better living for us. Yep.
Excellent. What were some of the influences that your parents instilled in you that you carry on today?
Well, my mom, let's start with my mom, because my dad takes a little bit longer. My mom is a cautious, I call a cautious optimistic. And I think that's where I pulled from. I consider myself a positive pessimist. I like to go out and do things like my dad, but I like to be wise and think about it. That's what I got from my mom. Now, my dad, which the book engulfs, his spirit enraptures the book, and he's the one that inspired the book. He was the go-getter. He was the entrepreneur. He was the risk taker. And he failed so many times, it scared me. My dad was a postal worker, a janitor. We ran a family restaurant when we didn't know what we was doing. He was that dude. And so I got my inspiration from him. So Dad, both of them rest in peace. Detailed stories about the effect that they had in my life. But hey, I was a young black kid with two parents, and we were okay. We weren't hurting. We weren't struggling at the time. But times change, and we as a family are darn near went homeless.
Wow. So you said that you grew up two parents, etc. What were some of the challenges you had to experience while growing up with your parents?
You know, the challenge was, well, in the beginning, wasn't so much at all. I mean, my dad was active. He was a baseball coach, which is the first chapter of the book. It really sets the tone as to how my life would go. Mom was a pretty much a stay-at-home wife, but they came from the South where they struggled with doing the odd end, the dirty jobs that nobody else would take to make it out here to California. So the challenge just was being well off, as you say. If you've seen the movie Coming to America, my brother and I have a twin brother named Dion. We used to call each other the Prince of Soulville because we were well off, you know. So I think the challenge came when the times changed and we went from being well off to struggling with being poor and putting up the facade that we were okay when we weren't. I think that's when the challenge came, and that was in the economic downturn of the early to mid '90s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what kept your family going through that period of time, and what kept you going?
You know, I can only say, I mean, and thank God that you're faith-based. I can only say it was God. There were points where, and I illustrate in the book, how I literally ran spiritually and checked out from my father because of his failure in business. There were points in our life where, you know, my mother and father fired me and my brothers from their business so they can survive, you know. We went from being told that you'll never work for anybody again because you'll be working for the family to, hey, you know, go find a job at McDonald's or something. I mean, that was crazy. So I think the real people come out. We call it survival of the fittest here in the States. When the times get tough, and that's what was happening. You know, we loved each other, but I really lost the respect for my father because of some of the investments that he made. But now that I'm a more mature man, I realize some of those were positive.
And you said you sort of drifted away from your dad.
How
long and when did you come back from the little bit of a drift?
That was about a good, I want to say, 8-year drift. I remember living with them for a while. I moved home when I first got my job from being unemployed for about 6 months. And I moved back home, and he was injured, hurt, and pretty much bankrupt. And I'd like to think that in my mind, I treated him like dirt. You know, I mean, I wouldn't look him in the eye. He was always injured in pain. You know, mom was doing the best she can. I had a disdain because it was something about a strong man breaking down. You know, it's one thing when you got a generally weak person that's all their life. You feel sorry for him. But when you have a strong father and you see him break down as a young man, I didn't give him the empathy that he deserved at that time. So, yeah, I stayed over to pay the rent. But after a while, I went in and got married. And I got on a place with my wife. And there was still a strain because there were issues with him losing properties and me trying to help him out with that. And there was resentment for that because it was really hard to get on with my life and my wife and my soon-to-be family because I was so attached to his goals and his vision at the time. So it was a difficult time, you know, a very difficult time.
What started bringing things back?
I think what started bringing things back for me and is just realizing that having a job, you know, I got a job as a law enforcement officer and honorable profession. You know, I'm proud of the people I work with, but it only took me a couple of years to realize maybe my dad was right. I couldn't stand having a job. I was miserable taking orders from people. I was proud of the work I was doing, but work had gotten so bad at a point where it was like, you know, is this all it's going to be? I mean, how do you feel when you're the best person for the job and you don't get a promotion? Or they lie to you and tell you you're going to get that promotion and you don't get that promotion? Or you're dealing with hostile work environment at work. You know, people are competitive for spots, so they trick each other. And I was just miserable. And I said, I can do bad all by myself as an entrepreneur. And something just kicked in and said, you know what? There was a sense of freedom that my father had as an entrepreneur that whether he was broke or wealthy, he was free. And that thing started to kick in short time as a law enforcement officer, you know, and not so much the job itself. it's the fact that that entrepreneurial spirit, it's like, if I'm going to take all this madness, I might as well hold all the responsibility on my shoulders. And right then and there, within my talent of fitness, I was teaching fitness in the academy. I started a fitness business, and that drug of entrepreneurship kicked in. And all the lessons of my father started pouring into me. So you can run from failure, you can run from success. But if you really stay open-minded, all you need is a job if you're an entrepreneur to let you know how important it is to have that spirit of freedom. You know, I had an older brother that has my dad's same spirit. You know, they both walked the planet like they owned it. They didn't want to work for anybody. I got a taste of working for somebody, and I just didn't like it. Now, hey, I still do.
Yes.
But I find joy and happiness now that I have my own vision, my own plan for success, and that's also something that my dad had to do until he completely set him free for that. So I realized the lesson in that. You know. The book really goes into that relationship in detail. There are going to be parts in this book where you're going to actually hate me, you know. I mean, you know, but then it turns around, and you guys will forgive me later.
Okay. Well, I think you're on our good side already. No worries. You're all right. Yay. Getting to the book. Why did you write the book at this time of your journey?
Well, first of all, it's the timeline how I wrote the book. I wrote the book in 2 weeks, and I was on vacation from work, and I put out a skeletal draft 10 years ago, but the problem was when I tried to write it the first time, it was so full of anger and bitterness towards, you know, some of my family members, my father. I was angry and bitter with people at work. There were some bad things that were happening to me, so the book sounded like an angry book. I mean, I think Hip Hop Wives of Atlanta would love that book, you know. I had to put it down. I mean, I put it down, in fact, burn it, you know, because I was naming names. And 10 years removed, my father had passed away in 2015, and my older brother passed away. These were two men that walked the planet like they owned it. And I watched both of their deaths. Unlike my mom, you know, I had to walk into that. I actually watched and lived the process of seeing their deaths. And, you know, my heart got heavy, and I started typing from a different perspective, you know. I had the honor of bringing my dad home to live with me before he passed. And that was the time where we mended a lot of stuff in a weird kind of way. So when I started typing the book, the first 5 days was at home. Then I went to Hawaii and ruined my wife's trip by typing away on the keyboard. This was supposed to be a fitness book. It was supposed to be a book about, you know, how to get a six-pack, you know, the next, you know, I'm the next one in line. I've been in business for 17 years. Now is my time. And then it just changed. I started typing away, and something said, it's almost like my father was jumping into me through God. We're going to hook you up with the fitness book later. But right now, you're going to tell a story of how young people or old people with a dream get through that plateau phase of business. And it's my turn to show my struggle, how we've tragedy, death, life, and still managed to maintain a successful business, which happens to be fitness. And that's a tough business because it's a luxury item. You know, when the economy tanks, you know, they lose the trainer, but you got to be really good. You got to be something special to maintain. So I want to show people, and it doesn't matter what walk of life, whatever dream you have, the formula is the same. I want to show you how to not give up in this book. And if you don't quit, giving up is the valley. If you stay in that valley and push through the other side, that's where you find success. That's what the book turned into. So within 2 weeks, I had a draft done. My wife couldn't believe it. I copyrighted it. I sent it to a editor. She read it one time. It was a wrap, and you know it was something spiritual. That's pretty much what happened. It changed from a fitness book to a message of inspiration to that middle-class person. You know, we call it middle class here in the United States. That person that's pushing on, is trying to break through that ceiling. The message in this book is, no matter what, you can't give up. If you give up, you're going to stay in that valley, navigating through the valley. If you don't give up, you go to the other side. There's the success. And the key is, what is the success? Is the success money? Is it green? Okay, that's a reality. But is your success your influence? There is a part in the book where I answer the question of why my dad remained successful, even in the worst of times. It wasn't so much money. It was his influence. My family is a family of helpers. And I finally watched all those characters came back to life as he was dying to show me how he helped them. So they were able to help him get back to his feet at one point in time in life. And I used that same formula for my family. My mother She used to take homeless people in and clean them up, and drug addicts. Where my father, once she cleaned them up, she would give them jobs. There were times in my life where I was doing construction next to a ex-murderer, and I didn't know it. My dad referred to them as friends, because he believed in second chances, sometimes third chances. I think we went broke giving so many people chances. So I think through my father and my life lessons, my tangible lessons, I want to show how people can navigate through success. See, there are so many books out there that say it's 1, 2, 3. I'm not hating on that. Okay, fine. I'm telling you there's 1, death, tragedy, lost your job, lost your promotion. 2, you're about to get ready to get a divorce, your wife hates you, your kids looking at you funny. 3, oh my God, your business is about to shut down due to implicit bias. What about all? Nobody talks about those 3 things in between. It's just an easy 1, 2, 3. I walked you through that life process of how to maintain your sanity while you're trying to achieve success.
So many conversation pieces, so I'm just going to take them as I can get them through my mind. Do you think you would have written this type of book if you didn't go through your parents passing away and a sibling passing away?
There's no way, because death is a very surreal thing, especially when you watch, and I paint those pictures in the book. In fact, I have my beautiful niece sitting in front of me. I have my older brother's wife in front of me. So for them to give me their permissions to tell those stories is amazing. I had to detail how all 3 of those very important people in my life passed away, and how I felt and what I was going through. I won't give it all away, but when my mom passed away, I just got a demotion from work, and in fact, they hated my guts at work. But yet they needed me. I was one of the best employees. But they hated the fact that I was a leader. And for some reason, my supervisors were competing with me. And it was just a bad time. And when my mother passed away, it was just ugly. And I was going through all of that at the same time. When my brother passed, he had just called me weeks prior, wanting to get back in shape. He was suffering from diabetes, and he already lost some of his toes. And just living that, me being a fitness trainer, not being able to get there in time for that, it was unreal. And I detail how that went by. And then the ultimate one was just my father, bringing him home after all that we've been through, and just reliving, me taking care of him instead of him changing my diapers, is me changing his diapers, along with getting that wisdom from him as he's passing away, through a man that's going through dementia, prostate cancer, you name it. It made me sit back and go, whoa, people need to understand that life is real. And when you get old, we're all going to get old in a real bad kind of way. We're not going to have these muscles for the rest of our lives. We need to take care of ourselves as long as we can, but we will deteriorate. So what is it that you want out of life as you're deteriorating? Do you want to be able to impart? What do you want people to say when you pass away, you're getting close? Where is your help going to come to build you up? I think that's what I started thinking about in my life, how I will affect people and impart in my life. I was already helping people, but now it's even more on a spiritual level. Death answers a lot of questions, and I accept that I'm going to pass away one day. I accept, but knowing that gives me a sense of joy that I'm sitting here talking to my fans out here, my future fans who get the book out in Canada, that I'm sitting here in LA talking to Canada right now. That's all because of all the stuff that I went through right now. I'm sitting here at this moment for a reason. That's the answer I give in the book. That's the clue that a lot of these help books may or may not give as well as I do. I walk you through it.
Excellent. That is fantastic. Let me ask you, one of the things I found right off the bat when I started reading the book was, did you purposely have your wife write the introduction?
I made her write the introduction.
That's okay. Hey, I'm not getting involved in this now. That you are on your own.
She's already got the night ready to go. I started to, I'm the kind of guy that, if I say, hey, can you write the foreword? Do you think I write the foreword? 2 days go by, I just started to write the foreword, right? But then she went ahead and took over the skeleton of the foreword, and then put some really truthful stuff about my wife, how she keeps me built up. I mean, the foreword is pretty straightforward as to that. She's got my vision down, but she's got how she's kept me strong with her brutal honesty. I tell you young men and women out there that are getting married, never bow down to lies. Meaning, don't lie to somebody to make them feel good. Just respect them in your brutal honesty about what they need to do to accomplish. These people are your passion protectors. And my wife's forward showed that she was the passion protector. There were times that I hated her guts. I was like, you're just nagging me. Oh my God, I can't take it anymore. Now, for instance, when we were young, she put sticky tabs on the refrigerator. I'd be like, where are those sticky tabs? We're giving them sticky tabs. Now at 45, where are them sticky tabs? You learn to appreciate the quality, your passion protector. It may not always sound sweet, but I'd rather have that than Housewives of Atlanta, 10-inch fingernails, and, I'm broke all the time. I'm good. Canada, I'm good. I stole one from y'all.
No problem. And remember, this is worldwide. I may be in Canada, you may be in U.S., but we're worldwide. So don't leave out the rest of the world,
All y'all ladies is lovely. I'm just telling you what happened to me.
There you go. There you
go.
The
ladies I was dating wasn't so, all right. I almost got shot one time.
Well, and you know what? I want to ask how did your experience, A, as a fitness trainer, and B, in law enforcement, help you with writing this book?
I really have to thank my police department. I love every moment that I spent. And I told you, I hated having a job. But let me tell you, God, okay, I can give you this. Here's a tip right now for you youth and people that are having a bad time on the job. I want you to remember one key word: excellence. Excellence, even if a boss hates you, if you're excellent at work, he'll depend on you no matter what. That he or she, that boss has to give you the secret sauce. So if you have a passion or a side hustle or a side job, my department's principles and policies gave me the format to put into my professional standards in my business. I thank the department for that. I was a self-defense instructor and a fitness coach within the department. Well, guess what? I got a fitness certification. So both of those worked separate but hand in hand because their policies are stricter than the Bible. Okay? So I take the policies I've learned there, snatch them up, put them in my hat, and I guide my gym by those principles. One of the principles in the department is honor and integrity. They always say and do. Another one is quality through continuous improvement. You got to stay out the box. You got to be on cutting edges of training. I took those and the mentors that I had within the department, some of my bosses, some of the good, some of the bad, and I took the best of them, and I was able to channel my leadership style along with everything my dad taught me. And there's the balance of me navigating success within my business. And my business it could be anything. Right now, it's fitness. I'm one of the more sought-out trainers out in Los Angeles. But now the plateau is changing because I've thrown myself through the department, through my job, through mentoring people as a trainer. I learned so much about life. It's taking me to other places that, wait, now I'm an author? Wait a minute, now I got called to motivational speak? That's incredible, man. So it's not, don't look at it as a one thing. I draw from this, I draw from the other. You draw from the scent of life. Everywhere you touch is an experience. There's no room to be reclusive if you're trying to be an entrepreneur or a hard worker. Going back to what I said, you're the one that gets to work early. You're the one that goes home from work late. Even if you hate your boss, take projects off, because guess what? When you get those projects in the hand, you're going to learn something that you're going to be able to take through your entrepreneurial. Now, there you go. Now, that's a free tidbit for me. That's not even in the book. That's the next book. All right?
All right. Good stuff. One of the things it takes, I believe, to write a book, and I haven't written one yet, but I'm going to, is the aspect of discipline. And in the professions that you're in, discipline is very important. Where did you acquire, or how did you acquire discipline, not only for your profession, but also to write a book in 2 weeks?
That's my dad. My dad had this he was raised by everybody. When he was growing up, he had it hard. He was raised by every family member in the community except his mother and his father. One promise that he made himself is when he got out here, he would hone in and, number one, raise a family and establish some businesses, and that's what he did. I watched his discipline. One thing I watched is he stuck to whatever he did. Even if it failed, he saw it through. One of the things I didn't take with him, but I understand what he meant was, even when you're wrong, stay wrong until it's over. I get it, but I didn't agree with it, but I understand now. Stick to the fight. It was one, and I don't want to talk about it because it's in the book. When you first open the book, this chapter will make it all very clear as to where that discipline came from. It's a story about my dad coaching me with baseball, and he'll answer that question. So I'll move from there. You have to, first chapter, that's what you get hit with. You're going to love it. But I got it from my dad. It's a tenacity as an entrepreneur that you have it. Once you start something, you have to finish it. I've done projects, the media projects that I would consider myself that a success in my mind, but clearly didn't make Hollywood, so it failed. But did I really fail? I saw it all the way through, and I learned something else from it. That's how I got to the book. So discipline is excellence. If you want to get better, you have to have discipline. You have to follow through with everything that you do. Even if it's just, if the ship is failing, you're going to learn a lot as the ship starts to fail, what it's going to take to succeed the next time you pick up and try. That's discipline, okay? I want to be the best trainer in the world, so I got the best certifications. It took discipline to get that. I want to be a bestseller, which I think I will be. I'm on a good pace right now. I will be a bestseller because I know what it takes to hustle it now. But that's because of my training experience, the experience I learned in the department by staying disciplined. And that's it.
Excellent. Won't go too deeply in the book because we want people to buy it, but one of the things I really want to highlight on is how you got out of the valley. And I love one of the chapter titles, and hopefully you can expand on. You don't have to get too deeply into it, but leave no stone unturned in the valley.
You know what? And this is something that we just talked about. Whatever you do, whatever project you pick, and it goes into detail. I really explained it in the book. But I'll say it like this: whatever you pick, go above and beyond. Let's say, for instance, you hire somebody to help you. You know what I do? You know how addicted I am to discipline? I start studying what that person's job is for me so I can do my job better than he is, just in case that person starts slipping so I can fill in those holes immediately. The second I put people around me, you are already in a competition. Even if I'm paying you to help me take the load off my shoulder, I have to know what you do. So in case you fall off, I can pick up. That's how cold-blooded I am about leaving no stone unturned. And it's not just the crossing the finish line. Are you taking care of your taxes behind it? Are you paying all your insurances? Are you doing everything that you're supposed to do? If something happens, you're covered. That's all a part of it too. That's leaving no stone unturned. Make sure that even when you're in the valley, take care of everything around you. And trust me, there are some stories that'll make it very clear. I just don't want to get into them. My wife's looking at me like I'm crazy. That will make that very clear as to why you need to leave no stone unturned.
Okay, excellent. I also think it's really important, and another title, I won't get into too many other ones, maybe one or two others, how you became, and this title is very interesting, a man of God to the voice of God. Sounds transformational.
Well, this is that segment. There are 4 chapters in that series where I meet, as a trainer, I meet some celebrities, about 3 or 4 celebrities in that chapter. And through making friends with them, I realized, number 1, that they're human. I already knew that, no big deal. Number 2, the hustle and the stuff they had to do to get to be successful was huge. I met one singer. He was on The Voice. His name is Jesse Campbell. This is what the story is about. It's a story about me imparting in them, but at the same time, them imparting in me. So when I see them in their light, I'm standing tall because I, as a fitness coach, had everything to do with why that person ended up on TV singing on stage. Me as a fitness coach, everything I just put into them, everything, the friendships that we developed, the wisdom that they imparted, we helped each other. I'm imparting in them a message from God, but I'm receiving the message from God on how God works through them. I can't say any more because I masterfully put that in the book as to how that works. I'll say this. I am faith-based. God is not magic. He's not magic. Get that out of your head. There's no Puff the Magic Dragon, poof, there's God. No. God works through people. He puts it in our minds and our hearts. And we can't do anything until we start interacting with each other. So he's real, but we have to do the work to see what's on the other side. And that's what those chapters are about. You're gonna love how these interactions, I'm inspiring them, but they're inspiring me. It's people.
How did you get into fitness?
I've been in fitness since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
I was a nerd. They called me Gumby. They called my brother Gumby too, but he was cool because he could rap. I got picked on, just like, it's just a typical story. I got picked on, I got tired of it, and I played basketball. I finally made the basketball team. And this was back then. Remember, you have to remember, you got to be close to my age. Back then, Dominique Wilkins was boom. Michael Jordan was slamming. If you could just touch the rim, you were a god. So I was dribbling the basketball. We were losing 60-28. We were getting a butt kick. Now we were getting booed. Someone throws me a ball, and I'm on a fast break. My 5'4" butt jumps up in the air, and I dunked it, but I missed. But the fact that I got up that high, and almost made it, I was a star overnight.
Wow.
Then I'd go in the locker room, and I'd see guys with six packs. Like, wait a minute, you got 1, 2, 6. Oh, I want that. And I'm like, you know what? I got to have that. So I started lifting weights and doing martial arts, and then I did a bodybuilding show, and my wife's already looking at me. That was funny. I went in because people said, you need to do bodybuilding shows. I had no experience at bodybuilding shows. Like, I had the body, but if you would have told me what my biceps femoris was, I would have thought it was my knee. So I got out there, and I was wearing night draws, sexy draws, as opposed to like the little spandex that you're supposed to wear. But I still got in on fourth. I made fourth place. I made the finals, just on not knowing. I'm like, why is everybody laughing at me? It's true. It's crazy. And yes, I got laughed at. But you know what? For my first time as a natural bodybuilder, I got fourth place and got into the qualifying round. That's unbelievable. You know, only reason I didn't get third was politics. So after that, I got into martial arts, MMA, had dreams and goals of going to the UFC. Things were arranging to go that route. And at work, I was just the star self-defense instructor. I was the go-to guy. You know, I mean, I had to earn that. Boy, that's in the book too. And something just said, you know, you're not going to make the UFC. I mean, I had a wife, a kid. I had some boxing matches. I had some jiu-jitsu matches. And then my wife and I mean, we kept it real. When we were young, we were having some issues. You know, my bad. It was me. You know, I was chasing the world as opposed to trying to be the husband that was already happening. I had 2 kids, and I had to make a decision, man. And I think the pivotal moment was my mother passing away the day before my first professional grappling fight.
Wow.
And when things just kept happening where I would get close to these fights, and then it wouldn't happen. So I think God's message was, this ain't for you. How about I teach you how to make money coaching people like this? So not only was I coaching MMA fighters, I started taking those methods, those wrestling exercises, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu exercises, boxing exercises, and I turned them all into fun exercises that the public could love. So if you're a weekend warrior and you've never boxed before, you're going to feel like a boxer when you're done. My slogan at CJ's Functional Fitness is, you don't have to be a fighter to feel like one, so let's train. That's a double message. It's a message for anybody. You want to be the best banker in the world? I'm going to make you feel like a fighter. But it also is my personal statement. It's my life. I came real close. I can still fight. But I just didn't cross that line. But you know what? I'm good because the public's getting it. The world's getting it, and I'm good.
Nice. What has this book taught or showed you about yourself that you did not know when you started writing it?
Wow, that's a good one. It made me realize the stuff that I learned over a couple of things. There's a couple of things. It made me realize all the things that I learned over the lifetime. I could always write, but I always wrote with my arrogance because I never had a school teacher. I mean, after I went to college and stuff like that, people would read my work and go, "Oh, that's brilliant," right? Oh, But when I went to work in media relations in my agency, where I had to really write, and there was somebody that read Shakespeare every day, grading your work, I realized I wasn't a great writer. I had a long way to go. What I could do is street write to make you relate to the writing, but I had to realize that dotting your I's and crossing your T's and spacing out and paragraph and structure, you could actually insult people if you don't get that right with a book. I found that out, and I was like, it just helped me get better. It helped me get better as a writer. And that's with every facet in life, and even in public speaking. I was always a good speaker. I had no problem speaking, but when I went to media relations. It taught me that there's a rhythm to speaking. You know, when I worked recruitment for my agency, you know, you had to sell a certain way. You can't always explode on everybody. No, this is CJ, now come join the department. Sometimes you got to read your audience and go, whoa, I got, you know, they don't like the popo down here, so let me just sell it a different way. You know, life experience teaches you how to be excellent, you know. So, and it's like, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but you want to see the illustration, get the book.
Yeah. I have this feeling that because you have a strong physical presence, and that's not a bad thing in my books, but also
Absolutely.
because of your backgrounds, do you sometimes have to break down some early misconceptions people may have of you before they even meet you?
That's a good question. Now you got to remind me of the full question. I'm looking at my fans right here, and no. I'll give you the first bit. The first bit, I had to deal with the impression of simply my skin color.
Yeah.
The difficult part in the book was to write about race. People are sick and tired of talking about race discussions, right? Then I learned, thank God for the department, a term, implicit bias. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're a racist. It just means that we all have our implicit biases. It just simply means that I was raised to think of people a certain way. My niece that just graduated college, she's like, yes, she's a psychologist, yes, thank you. Implicit bias is right below where it's not that you're a bad person. You've just been trained to think a certain way about somebody's complexion or build and stature. Look at me, I'm a big guy, I got muscles, right? What's the old adage? If you got muscles, yeah, you're not so smart, correct? Correct. You know, what's the deal with a brother with glasses? Oh, he must be smart because he's got glasses, right? Yeah. But now I got to go on and lease a business of my own and try to convince management that I'm smart enough outside of my color to lease this facility. And, if I get into it, I give too much away. That is a powerful, because I struggled with taking race out of it, yeah, and filling it with, because here's what I don't want to do. This is not a book just for Black people. You know, I want this book to reach everyone, but I affectionately want our people to understand their power too. So I didn't go too far into that, but implicity helped describe that. So, and that's only one chapter with a few pages, but it's very impactful as to how we deal with it. Now, your physical presence, yeah, people do look at you and judge you as to how you look. I'll be honest, I've gotten jobs that I shouldn't have gotten because I look sharp in my uniform, you know, not because I knew the job, you know, and that's wrong, but I got the job. I didn't realize it until thinking back. The only reason I got the job was because I looked sharp in my uniform. I didn't know what I was doing, right? You know, I'm a gang officer, right? You know, but sometimes that's okay. I did learn, and you just deal with that, you know. I'll take the advantage, but me at 45 looking back at it, realized there's some jobs that I've gotten just from looking sharp, and then there's some conceptions that I wasn't so smart because I was in shape, you know. So it's kind of weird how that goes, but you just have to deal with it. Whatever life throws at you, you got to deal with it. So if you're born with a six-pack, go on and live your life. Enjoy the benefits of that. If you're not, use your brain. Use your brain. Here's the key. It's confidence. The key is confidence. Confidence is sexy. So if you're oval-shaped and you ever seen just the ugliest dude walking around with the prettiest woman, it's like, how'd that happen? That dude has swagger, you know, or vice versa. A woman that's not so attractive, but she's, you know, and she may not have much, she just got swag. Confidence is the sexy. So if I can roll it up in a nutshell, it's all about your confidence. Because looking like this, I better have some confidence to show behind it. You know, and I talk about some humiliating experiences where I thought my six-pack would carry me through a few wrestling matches, and it didn't go so well. But it was another sense of that humility that I learned.
Excellent. What was the feeling you had, and you can describe with us, when you held the first copy of the finished book?
You know, I'm going to send you a picture of that. You know, there's a picture of me on the floor, on my knees, laying over a bunch of boxes with one book in my hand. And I remember my wife calling me, Cleon the book! And I just screamed for a straight 3 minutes. And I just got home and hugged the book, and my wife took a picture of it. I'll make sure I send it to you. It was a moment. It was because here it is. It's tangible. And it lives forever And
What were some of the thoughts running through you in that moment?
I'll be honest, the thought that was running through me was, I'm going to live forever. You know, I will not die in vain. I have a message that I've imparted to the world that people will see. It will hang out in Amazon forever. You get it at Amazon.com. You can go to my site, navigatingsuccess.net. It's going to be there for life. The paperback will be rolling around. I've donated some books to young children who need it. This life's work is going to be here when I'm gone, and it provided a sense of peace. And I have nothing to be embarrassed about because it's all about imparting wisdom. I was open and honest with the wisdom of life from my perspective. Maybe from a black perspective, maybe from a business perspective, maybe from a fitness perspective, maybe from a 45-year-old man perspective. I got something for everybody.
How did you get to that point of transparency?
The only thing I can say is age and getting your butt kicked, failing a lot, getting embarrassed a lot. Oh, I know, you're right. Yes, you're laughing. Failing a lot, embarrassment, grief, and the most important one, self-inflicted pain. Things where you failed at, where you knew better, where you did wrong and you didn't represent yourself right, or you did someone wrong when you knew better. Those are the hardest ones. But dreams that you thought was God's vision for you and you were going to make it, you're going to be on TV tomorrow and it didn't happen, or in fact you were right there, you were on stage and they've been ready to introduce you, but a storm hit. Stuff like that. Those things really grow you and let you know that you take a deep breath and you just realize life is going to do what it's going to do. That's the first thing I tell people: accept life, but be ready at all times. You want to be the best trainer in the world? Well, don't come at me telling me you're training 3 women at 1 o'clock in the morning with no certification. Get your certification. And don't just get any certification, get your best certification. You want to be the champion of the world? Well, you better train 8 hours a day for that. You want to be the best internet talk show host? Well, guess what? There are thousands of them. What makes you the best? Are you sitting up there having slots hour after hour after hour? Are you out there hustling, giving your business cards? Life is a real hustle, y'all. And you have to do it. I'm a recluse. When I get home, I'm quiet, believe it or not. When this thing goes off, I'm going to sit on the couch and my wife's going to look mad at me because I'm quiet. But when you get out there in that world and the curtain comes up, you have got to shine and you have got to engage and you have to make it happen.
Wonderful.
You have.
This book is very interesting because there's so many different perspectives that you share in the book. During the writing of the book, 2 weeks, did you have to navigate through any valleys?
Okay, yes. I had to navigate through some emotional valleys. Guys, for my authors out there, this book is for you too, because it answers the question. If you start a book about your personal life, you better finish it. Because there were parts of the book where I'm reliving death and tragedy, and I had to stop and I had to cry. I was like, there was an embarrassment that I had to sitting on my bed and shave in Hawaii, and oh, this is horrible. I can't believe I just did this. The only way to get out of that funk is to keep typing. Because if God brought you through those, He brought you through some good times too. So I relived the bad, and I even healed better once I relived the good. And I said, won't He do it? Won't He make sense of life? So if you never write a book, I admire women because they write diaries and journals. There's a reason why they do it. No wonder why men, we die so early. We just have everything pent up. Women just talk it out, write it out. I write that book. It's out now. I have healed. I have literally healed myself. I am in the most blissful state in my life. Not just because I'm healthy and all that good stuff. I put something out there that's going to help somebody, and I completed what I feel was an assignment. And I got through that emotional journey. You have to get through it, or else you're going to need to see a psychiatrist. You do. You get through it, you will find a sense of peace. But only write it when you're at that sense of peace. Don't write it in the middle of grief. It'll drive you to drinking.
I know you've done a number of appearances talking about this book, but I always like to know, I like the first times. What was the experience sharing about this book with an audience for the first time?
The first time was in West Hollywood with a faith-based show. It was incredible because you're sitting in a chair and you got an interviewer and you got the cameraman and they're telling you all these cues and then there's no script. I love going non-scripted, and I love it when the show host reads the book because it gets even deeper. But sometimes I love it when they don't, because then you can hit them around and you make them feel bad for not reading the book. So in that case, that was the first one that I did. It was awesome. Don Schroeder was the host of a show in West Hollywood, and that was supposed to be a 30-minute show that went an hour. You know, the next one were a few radio interviews back to back. One online and one on actually Radio 3, 102.3 KJLH. And we killed it, you know, because I was ready. And plus, the person that was doing the interview was one of my long-term clients. So it was like she already knew the man. She didn't have to read the book. She just knew of the man. Then I got so familiar with production, I produced my own set for my book signing. And I didn't want to be some small book signing. It had to be large, man. I had to have a stage. I had to have a sound crew. All these guys from the past I brought in, and we put together oh my God. To me, that was the one that meant the most, because my hands was all in it. I was in complete control. I was the producer, the CEO. I had a very famous host. I had a very famous pastor with me. I was at a very famous church. And it was amazing. So when you say ready, I'm ready to do this with somebody helping me. I'm ready to do this by myself, man. I'm good.
Being faith-based, how can someone who is not faith-based relate to this book?
I want people to not. I couldn't help but bring faith into it, because that came through me. I could not help that. But I don't want people to look at it as just a faith-based, because I realize there are people that hate me, that hate people that are faith-based. Don't be fooled by that. You know, I'm telling you, there are many books that I refer to in the book that helped me. You know, Power versus Force. There's one called Jonathan the Seagull. These were just as impactful. So I don't want you to get wrapped. If you're not a faith-based person, you don't have to get there. At the end of this book, I'm not going to have, throw water on you, and I promise you, that's not the way I walk. If you want to believe because of the way I walk, fine, but not because I talk you to death. You won't hear it like that in there. It's nothing like that. It may talk about what God did for me, but I'm not badgering you with what God can do for you. I just walk. So trust me, this is not just a faith. This is for the global. This is for the global majority here, okay? So it's not just a thing. I promise you, you won't. When you read this book, you won't get that. I had one lady refuse to buy the book, one of my clients, because she's atheist. Well, a friend bought it for her. She finally cracked it open, and she was blown away. She said it was nothing like I expected. There it is. There are good people that don't believe in anything. And you know what? Cool.
In your opinion, how important are relationships when you're navigating through the valleys of success?
That's the influence. I'm telling you, every day of your life, everyone should try to be good to someone. Because what happens is you're going to run into some downturns in your life. And it's going to be those same people that come back to help you in a very indirect way. You don't know the time. It could be 10 years from now. It could be tomorrow. But every day you have to make somebody, that's my mission. I wake up every day. How do I make someone feel good? How do I make everybody at work feel good? How do I help my family when they're in need? Because maybe 20 years from now, I may be in need. I may be in prison. I need somebody to speak up for me, please, because I did it for you. That's how life works. There's no magic. There is no magic. God is not magic. God depends on people to do the work. So that's how it works. I can't explain it anymore without giving away the super secret sauce. It's people, it's your influence. Your influence in imparting, that will come back. If you don't believe anything, you believe in the yin and yang, believe in that. If you believe in karma, believe in that. If you believe in Murphy's Law, it's all the same circle. It all comes back.
How are you different after writing this book?
I'm complete. There's nothing you can do to me right now to hurt me. You can't. You can slap me and I'll still be smiling. I'll find a way to get up. You want to challenge me to a fight? I'll just smile and say, hey, I don't want to fight you today. I'm good. I have this high when I'm sorry, guys. I kiss my wife from Canada more passionately now because I'm free now. It's like I'm lifted, I feel like a kid again, it's amazing. It's a sense of peace that no one can take away. It's not to say that I will not run into some bad times, but now I've answered my own questions as to how I deal with them. And you got to have confidence that bad times never last always. It's like the gospel song. It is true. I used to laugh at gospel songs, but they come. Good times don't last always, but guess what? Bad times don't last always. I engulf that. I embrace that now. Now I am no longer. I am officially a healed, positive pessimist. Now I'm just high on life. Nothing can get me down. I'll tell you a funny story. I had a perfect day yesterday. I had a speaking engagement. Everything went well. I was on cloud nine. My Facebook, everything's blowing up. Everything's looking good. Then I get home and to catch my daughter, she got a Snapchat. She's not supposed to have social media. Just rocked my world. I was like, oh, it turns out she's had it for a year. What? Now, the old me would have turned the tables and showed a display of strength and But you know what? Cool. Let me just sit down. Let's just talk about everything that you did and the ramifications behind it. And now I let the mom do the cussing. But I was cool.
Oh my.
But she doesn't cuss. No, but she did. She did cuss. Yes, she did.
Okay.
It was beautiful, y'all. But anyway, I didn't have to do it. I was in a state of, that's just a funny example, but things can go wrong at work, deadlines and stuff like that. I have the sense of urgency just like everybody else, but I deal with it differently. At the end of the day, did I murder somebody? Did I harm somebody intentionally? Did I lie to somebody? Did I cheat somebody? If you didn't do any of those things, trouble don't last always. Those relationships were easy to heal. But when you do that, my sister-in-law, I have no full wrinkles right now. But those other four, never do. Never do. And life will be all right.
Absolutely. I asked before we went live about the significance of this thing that's beside you, but between you and the book. Can you share the significance of that item?
The thing. Oh, yes.
Yes.
This here.
Yes.
A friend from AK, he's another trainer, brilliant trainer from West Africa. He was homeless when he came to the United States. We've had such a loving relationship. He brought this here right around the time we found out that the people of Libya were being enslaved. They were enslaving black people in Libya. This is the tribute to them. I had this at my last speaking engagement. I had this at my big one. And this is my shout out. I can't do anything. I realize I can't do anything physically. I can just, when I see those vivid pictures, I cry. Because we talk about this in history books, people chained up. And now when I see people chained up, it doesn't matter what color they are, but the fact that they look like me, and I look like I'm watching the history books on TV, I carry this with me to let you know that I love y'all. And whatever I can do to pray or whatever I got to do, just get our leadership here. Oh my God, that's a whole nother thing. To get their mind right, that's real tangible racism right there. And that's just downright evil. So whenever you see this, this is home. I did a little case study. I'm part Nigerian, I'm part Congo. That's good to know. I mean, I know exactly where I'm from, but I know my bloodline comes from there. I'm proud. I'm proud of who I am. That doesn't segregate me from anybody else. This is the fabric. This African American draws into the fabric of the United States. This world.
Excellent.
I love you, Libya.
What's next for you?
What's next for me is more promotions of the book. I've already got part 2 in the works. I don't want to give away the title, but I'm thinking along the lines of the power of ask. When that comes out, that'll be the part 2 of Navigating Through the Valleys of Success. And then I'll give you my Rocking Six-Pack Abs book, like I want to do. But right now, God has me doing something else right now.
Well, this has been fantastic. Do you have any final messages you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh, yes, I do. And I'm going to read this real quick. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to scare you non-faith-based people, but this one's for the faith-based people, right? Only one little Bible scripture. I have to do this. Ezekiel 36, 27, 28. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes. And ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave your fathers. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your God. Navigating Through the Valleys of Success, a perspective in the thick of it. You can read it on Amazon. Go to navigatingsuccess.com, Barnes & Noble. If you fly out to LA, you want to see me personally, autograph it and give it to you. I'd love to meet my fellow Canadians. God bless.
Excellent. If people want to find out more about you, how can they do that?
You can go to, I'll give you a couple of ways since it's streaming, and I'm going to talk a little slower because people may be writing this down. you're smart, you are. You can go to navigatingsuccess.net. You can also go to cleonjoseph.com, same website. You can also go to my fitness website to find out more about me that way, www.cjffla.com. You go on that site, and then there's a button success. You purchase the book either way, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, for you tablet readers. Audible's coming soon. That's the next tangible goal that I'm working on right now. It's a blessing making that work. So those are the ways you can get the book. You know, and you know, you can join me on Facebook at CJ Functional, Cleon CJ Joseph, and Instagram at CJ Functional, and at Facebook CJ Functional. Okay, those are the ways you can get a hold of me when you read the book, because I know you will, because I worked hard on it. And I want you to read it. I want your feedback. Okay, so go on Amazon, let people know how you feel. You know, you see Oprah out there, you walk in the street, just give her the book. You know, tell her it's time. You see Steve Harvey, give him the book when they're out there in Canada. You know, who's the big person in Canada that I need to talk to out there?
There's a number. We'll discuss that offline, but there are a number. There are a number of them.
Also, I'll fly out and we'll talk about navigating. This is for the world, okay? This is for the world. Dr. Vibe, you are outstanding. And I went through your site, studying up, and saw some of the things that you care about. And it looks like that we care about the same thing. So there'll be more things. Y'all tune into this man. This man's doing some big things.
I received that. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations. If you want to watch replays of my Epic Conversations via YouTube, you're at the right place, but just go to YouTube and in the search engine put the space, DR period, space, VIBE, space, SHOW. If you want to listen to audio replays of my Epic Conversations, you can catch them at a number of different places. You can go to the website, drvibeshow.com. You can also go to Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music Store. And I think I may have left something out, but I don't remember. But just go to the website. They'll tell you all the different places. Also, if you want to catch selected audio replays, you can catch them at thegoodmenproject.com and also WJMS Radio. Also know I'm a brand ambassador for the only online magazine dedicated to African Americans in food, wine, and travel. It's called Cuisine Noir Magazine. The website address is cuisinenoirmag.com. Also, I am a certified empowerment coach. If you'd like a complimentary 30-minute session, please touch base with me via Twitter at drvibeshow. Email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com, or you can go to my website, click on the top contact Dr. Vibe Show. We can certainly make it happen. Also, I provide a service called Getting Media Coverage, and what that's all about is I help businesses and entrepreneurs get media promotion so they can elevate their business. And finally, if you want to catch me live on another platform every Friday morning, 7:25 a.m., you can catch me along with Christopher Flood, the drummer Norris, on WURD, which is Pennsylvania's only publicly owned Black AM FM online station. We do a conversation along with some other guests called The Week That Was, where we review highlights of the news week. So certainly catch that out. So 3 last things I'd like to say to people. Actually, 4. First of all, we talked about valleys. I just want to share with people, remember, failure is a moment. It's not a person. Next up, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. And finally, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. As always, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to share with us. God bless, peace be well, keep the faith, and as we say where I come from, walk good. Thanks again, Cleon. Congratulations on an outstanding book, and more to come. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Get the book. Bye.